What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down what's happening with the overall market thus far, what the news is saying about the overall earnings that came out, what the news is saying about Tesla, and what you should be watching for going into tomorrow as I give you guys my price predictions. But before I break into all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Tomorrow is going to be the last day I promote this, so tomorrow is your last chance to sign up for Moomoo with my link. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening with Tesla. Tesla had a very nice accumulation structure that developed right over here, and we saw the buyers defend it and push it up very nicely. We also saw SPY bounce, the QQQ bounce, Nvidia bounce as we predicted yesterday. I also mentioned that Tesla could see a squeeze-like move if it held some nice levels, and that's what ended up panning out for today. We made this prediction yesterday, and this played out very nicely. Now, I'm a human. I also make mistakes. I'm not perfect by any means. So that does not mean you should just copy every single thing I say or do anything like that. But I just want to let you guys know that I have a proven track record for this year. I've made a lot of correct calls, and you guys can see the proof in my previous videos. And it just will provide you guys with more confidence that this channel could benefit you greatly. I just want to provide as much value as possible for free. Anyways, now let's talk about the charts. How are things looking? The answer is things look bullish for Tesla, SPY, and all these others. The market is just continuing to hold up nicely. And I think there's more upside potential. But I'll break down some specific levels and talk about what I think could happen tomorrow a little bit later in this video. I first want to talk about some data and other things like that before I break down the charts. So let's go over some data. What's happening for tomorrow? An hour before the market opens, we have initial jobless claims coming out. We want this to be around 220,000. Then we also have the export prices and import prices year over year coming out 1 hour before market open. All of that could affect the market to some extent. Then later on at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have industrial and manufacturing production numbers coming out month over month and year over year. So we'll see how this affects the markets. Right before the market opens, we have quite a bit of data coming out. So watch for that. At 10 a.m., we have some housing data. This is going to be important for how the current sector is looking, followed by the bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. Then Waller is going to be giving a speech at 1:15 p.m. So hold on, what should we be paying attention to? For now, just worry about initial jobless claims and also the data before market open because of the fact that, I'll be giving you guys some real-time updates anyways tomorrow. And then most of the data is kind of minor. The main pieces of data are going to be initial jobless claims in the morning, the manufacturing numbers as well. And then besides that, everything else is kind of minor until Waller starts giving his speech at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So most of the data is minor except for Waller's speech and also the manufacturing numbers and initial jobless claims. Pay attention to the times and watch for volatility during those instances. Right now, we have a new development. There is now an expected 90% chance the Fed is going to keep rates the same for the next FOMC meeting on March 20th, and a 10% chance the Fed is going to give us a cut by 25 basis points. Now, this was adjusted just slightly, but this is very much just close to what we saw yesterday. And now the most common prediction is that the Fed is just going to keep rates the same. That's what the market is expecting. Now, when it comes to earnings, we had a couple of them that came out. I went over these in the morning. For today, I just want to mention we had Cisco Systems, not to mention Twilio. And then for tomorrow, we have some big ones. We have Coinbase, Roku, and DraftKings all coming out after market close tomorrow. I'll be watching Coinbase especially. That's going to be a fun one. But what about the earnings that just came out just over the last few hours? We had Twilio's earnings. Unfortunately, although they met on EPS and revenue with an EPS of 56 cents a share, the issue is that the revenue forecast came in light, and the stock has dropped quite a bit because the guidance was just not the best for them, especially their revenue. And then on top of this, for Cisco Systems, they met on EPS and revenue, but unfortunately, they lowered their guidance and they announced that they're going to be cutting 5% of their labor force, over 4,200 jobs. They're doing this because of the current environment for them. It is tough for a lot of businesses because of the high interest rates and because of other hardships in the economy that have been announced for them. So Because of that, we saw the share price drop. Guidance was not the strongest, so that's very important. That's it for the earnings for now, but remember, tomorrow is going to be kind of fun. I went over most of these articles in my earlier videos about Tesla. If you want more details, you could check them out. But just as a reminder, Tesla has increased the Model 3 prices as it costs as much as the Model Y. And this is after the refresh has come out. So we're seeing a $1,500 increase in the prices for the different models of the Model 3. We're seeing this as they've launched once again with the new variant and the new refresh. This is important because the base Model 3 RWD is still the same price, but the other variants from the long range, not to mention the other one, are still a bit more expensive with a slight increase. This could be because of costs going up and also because of other factors. Could it be that demand is actually going up for this and they're willing to do that? That's a possibility, but it's something worth noting. On top of this, there's also some news that came out that a new letter has come out from the Tesla team, and Elon Musk and the shareholders are basically trying to ask the judge to pause the ruling until the appeal is resolved for the $56 billion pay package. And the letter is the first indication that Musk may be intending to appeal the ruling. That is some big news. They're trying to appeal the ruling that was made that the $56 billion compensation plan was just voided. So we'll see how that goes for them. But we're getting some signs that Musk may be announcing an appeal, which could cause Tesla's share price to make a big move. This is what I talked about in my video from yesterday, and we're getting more and more signs about that, so that prediction could end up being true. There's also some news that came out. I went over this in more details as well in my intraday video about the Mexico Gigafactory update, but I'm just going to be very quick with this. Elon Musk is basically inviting many Chinese EV parts makers and suppliers to Mexico. And the reason for that is because they're trying to resemble the Shanghai Gigafactory when they build the Gigafactory over there to help outsource and then take advantage of the comparative advantages over there as well. So that's important news. Many US officials are not too happy about that, but Tesla is doing what's best in its own interest, and this could be very beneficial for them. We know that China is very, very good at improving production lines, mass producing, and becoming more efficient. So using them as a key example and their expertise could be very useful in Mexico. That's what Elon Musk is trying to do. They're also trying to incentivize suppliers to help them out. So that's big news for Tesla. It's a big development. I went over more details in my other video. The volume was about 81 million. That's a little bit below the average volume for Tesla. It's still up quite a bit. And also the short volume has gone down a little bit to about 47%. That's a good sign. On top of this, Daiwa Capital is giving Tesla a neutral rating. Nothing else is changing. The price-risk ratio is flat. It's starting to go up just slightly as Tesla's gaining a little bit of strength again. Tesla tends to be green about 48% of the time on Thursdays, so hopefully it's a decent day. Then we also tend to see more bullish price action around noon, and also at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. we tend to see a lot of volatility on Tesla. So watch it specifically during those times. That's also around the time when Tesla started pushing near the very end of the day. On top of this, financial estimates are still strong. Things are still looking quite good for Tesla. So now let's talk about the charts and just a couple of other factors. What do I see going on with the charts? Let me close some of these tabs just real quick. Just give me 1 second, guys, just so that I could try to stop any lags that could be coming. But anyways, going back to the charts, let's talk about this. Tesla is nearing a bullish crossover on the PPO on the 4-hour time frame. And when we tend to do this, we tend to see Tesla push even more. It doesn't mean it has to explode to new all-time highs, but it could actually uptrend just a bit once we get these crossovers. Even during choppy periods, getting them has helped Tesla push a little bit. So there is a sign and a good signal that Tesla may attempt to do so. One could also argue that Tesla has kind of like an inverse head and shoulders like structure right here, like this left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. So it could attempt to push higher. Now, excuse me, guys, I apologize. So what do I see for Tesla? What is my prediction? We look bullish, but we have to hold above our, I think it's the 4-hour 50 EMA here, this 188 zone. That's right here, this yellow line. I want to see Tesla hold above that, and it has more bullish potential. Just to be safe, if you're bearish, you want to be watching 188. If we lose that, the next target is 187.5, 186, 184, then 182. And if we lose 184, we turn more bearish. That's one of the most important supports. For resistance, make sure you watch 190. If we break this, there's 192.5. Well, there's 191 for minor resistance and 192, followed by 195 that's coming next, and a bigger push after that. So we have a nice accumulation structure that is developed right here. We're actually trying to break out. If we break this resistance, look for a bigger push, and I do think Tesla has the potential to do so. It's actually pumping right now. I think that Tesla tomorrow could within the first hour. So we could be looking for little retracements that could come. We might come down depending on where we open to grab liquidity either at 188, maybe a little higher than that, then start pushing up higher and start pushing for at least 192. If we keep breaking out, I mean, 195 is a real possibility. To be really bullish, you want to see this thing break above 195. If we break this top right here, Tesla's going to be running to 200 pretty quickly. So in my opinion, the chart still looks bullish. I think it's going to push into the 190s, and I favor the upside even more. So Tesla's looking pretty good thus far. How about SPY? How is SPY looking in my honest opinion? That is the wrong SPY. Looking at SPY, I think it's looking bullish because of the fact that it's making an attempt to break out. Let me just show you the chart in 1 second. Sorry, guys, had a little glitch there. SPY right now has another uptrend that is being respected. It's making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. But I just want to note a couple of things. Now, in my opinion, I think that there's more upside potential coming, especially since we have this gap to fill. And let me just show you what the gap looks like. So firstly, on the 4-hour time frame, bullish crossover is coming. This suggests that there is potential for more upside to push towards 501. But on top of that, if you look at the daily chart, the daily has a bullish looking candlestick, and we have this big gap to fill towards this 501 area. So I do think it's going to test this. Now, here's the thing that makes me a little bit cautious about SPY. So basically, I don't know if SPY is going to remain in a bigger uptrend or if it's going to be in a downtrend. I don't know for sure. That depends on the news and such. So what do I mean? SPY could push higher. Yes, it can. But look at the top here. We have this 503.5 top. So if we're on an uptrend, over the next couple of days, we have to see SPY not just break 501, but also break the high. If we break this high, it could push higher to 505, new all-time highs. But if we're in a new downtrend, SPY has to hit 501 or so and fail to break this top and then come back down. So you want to be very careful when watching it. We'll see how it goes. But regardless of that, okay, keep that in the back of your mind. What do I see happening? I think it's going to push higher. I still think it's going to push higher. I'm not trying to confuse anyone. I still think it's going to push higher. So for support, watch 498, 496, and then 494 as critical levels. If we lose 496, we would turn a little more bearish, and 494 would turn us very bearish. To be bullish, you want to see it basically break this top at 499. If it breaks, I think 501 is going to be our next target, followed by 502, which is where we have this imbalance. It's like at 502.1. And if we break that, watch the high at 503.5, followed by 505. What do I think SPY will do? Well, it's very simple, guys. Very, very simple. I'm going to basically be watching for this. I think SPY will push up towards 501, but we'll be watching to see if we get a rejection like this and we come back down, because then this could be a downtrend where we're making lower highs and lower lows, right? That's like the more like bearish case ultimately. But the bullish case would be if we end up breaking out going into Friday, we break this high right here, we could still be in a big uptrend. It could still continue to push to new all-time highs. So watch for that test. What do I think SPY will do? I'm not going to predict what it's going to do from there. I think it's going to push higher to get to 501. And then we're going to see how it breaks from there. If we keep breaking out, we're going to be bullish. If we get stopped there, I'd be very cautious. So I think 501 is coming. We'll be watching to see how it reacts. I see 501 as my target. I think SPY is going to push for at least there. For the QQQ, same analysis as SPY. I think the QQQ has potential to get up to 435 because, first off, the QQQ looks bullish on the 4-hour time frame is bullish. You guys can see we have this nice potential bullish crossover on the PPO. And then on top of this, the daily looks bullish and we have this gap to fill at 435. We have a nice gap up there. So this looks bullish to me. I think it's going to be pushing for 435 at least. If that breaks, there's 436, 436.75 at this imbalance, and then 438 is going to be our next target. For support, watch 432. If we lose this, 429 to 430 is coming, and if we lose 429, a bigger drop is coming to 427. My prediction is it might come down a little bit, then start pushing up higher. I think it's going to get to at least 435, if not higher levels like 436, 436.75, and etc. So I do favor the upside more. I think 435 plus is coming for the QQQ. For Nvda, as predicted, I told you all, we had a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure on Nvidia. I said this yesterday when the chart looked like this. The chart was looking like this, and that's when I called more upside. And as you can see, the upside ended up coming. So with the inverse head and shoulders, we actually got a nice cup-like formation. Cup and handles don't have to be perfectly symmetrical, but this is like a cup, and then this is like a handle that's forming. So I favor more upside, but I'm not 100% convinced it's going to just break out until we get confirmation, right? Sometimes you got to wait. So in my opinion, if we're bearish, you want to see it lose 730. 734 will be the next support, then 730. Lose 725, then 720 is coming. If we lose 720, we turn bearish. If we're bullish, you want to see it break. First off, we have 742 the first top, and then 745. If we break above 745, we're going to be pushing to the 750s easily. I think with the cup and handle, the odds do favor this trying to push for 745. And we'll see if this breaks or not. If it breaks, it could push more. If it fails, it is what it is. But so far, the chart looks bullish, so watch that very carefully. How about Apple? In the morning today, I said Apple looked very weak compared to the market, and that is what happened. Apple is looking very weak. Now, the news was that Warren Buffett has been selling shares. Not the best of things you want to hear. Watch 182.5 as support. If we lose this, 181 is coming, followed by 180 flat. Watch resistance at 183.5 and then 184.25. With this downtrend, we'll see how Apple ends up doing here. We'll just have to see how it goes. In my opinion, it's in this range right now. There's nothing guaranteed about the chart quite yet, but there is going to be a risk of it potentially coming lower if we fail at this support. So I presume it's going to range trade. Whichever way it breaks determines the direction. If it breaks 184, it could bounce a bit back up to 185. If it fails to do so and loses 182, we turn bearish. Otherwise, it's kind of range bound. But the chart still has bearish momentum, so be very careful. With that being said, guys, I went over the majority of the tickers I typically go over. I just want to quickly go over just a few more before I conclude this video. I know there's a lot I'm going over. I do apologize for talking too fast, but I'm doing it because I just want to get as much done as possible. So Rivian, in my opinion, we have 15.8 as a test, in my opinion. If this breaks, it's going to be pushing to this imbalance at 16.25. I do favor it testing the 50 EMA and maybe even breaking it, so it looks bullish, in my opinion. For SoFi, this is looking bullish. Just as we said yesterday, I said it's going to push. We got the push. If 8.5 breaks, this is going to push towards $9. It could get very close to it because we have a nice accumulation structure. And the next imbalance will take us up there. See this accumulation, guys? There's institutions that sold this off, bought shares up here. Now they're pushing it up higher. It could get to 9 if it keeps going. The Russell 2000 IWM looks bullish. Got a very, very nice looking bullish structure. We're nearing a bullish cross in the PPO. So I think that 202 should be coming soon. If that breaks, that's where this imbalance is. 203.5 is coming, then 205. But at the very least, I see 202. It looks bullish. For what else is there? We have Palantir. Let me actually double check Palantir. Palantir is looking bullish to me. I think 25.5 is going to be tested. If that breaks, we're going to be pushing for 27.5 very soon. The chart is still favoring the bulls a bit more, holding the 20 EMA nicely. Let's see what else is there. Microsoft, I told you yesterday, 410 should be coming. We reached 410, the 20 EMA during the after hours. If we break this, you're going to be looking for a nice push towards 415. If that breaks, our next target is going to be up towards 418, then 420. Overall, we look bullish. It looks bullish to me. Going to be looking for a nice break to the upside. What else is there? Ford, we're just going to go over some random ones. Ford is looking a little bit weak right now. I think it might test 12.69, then reject. It's kind of stuck between these EMAs. I think it's going to like pop a bit, then come back down. Not looking the strongest. Netflix, it's bullish. It's breaking out. We're up pretty big for the day. If it keeps going, I think 585 could be tested. We'll see if that breaks. If it breaks, that could keep going. It still looks very strong, so watch it very carefully. It does not look like it's done quite yet. For the VIX has this big gap to fill below, so we'll see if the VIX breaks down. Watch 14, then 13.6 as support. If we lose that, the gap is going to get filled towards 13. It is looking a little bit weaker. For the SQQQ, this, in my opinion, is looking a little bit weaker on the 4-hour time frame. If this gets the bearish crossover, it's going to be sinking towards 11.29, then eventually 11. So with this rejection, this favors more upside for the QQQ. The dollar index is looking kind of weak right now, getting a rejection. It's going to be testing 104.5. If it loses that, 104.23 is coming, looking kind of bearish. For Coinbase, earnings is tomorrow, so be careful when playing this. The chart looks bullish. I looked at the levels historically, so I'm gonna just talk about them. I'm not gonna show you everything. Basically, it looks like it could push to 165. If that breaks, 170.5 is coming. If it gets above that, 175.57 is our target. It is still very strong and bullish, especially approaching its earnings. So it might just blast through everything and get very close to 180. We have to get above 170 first. And if we break that, I mean, it could easily push more. So watch for that carefully. For Google, in my opinion, is barely holding 144.36. Looking kind of weak right now, not the strongest. So if we lose 144, we're going to be sinking for 142, then 140. If we hold this, look for a little bounce. So we'll have to see how it goes. For Amazon, in my opinion, Amazon's about to get a bullish cross in the PPO. If we break here, if we actually get this nice curl here and we start pushing, we're going to be looking for a nice move towards 172.5 and higher levels. With this nice accumulation, I think it could push even higher. So let's see if we get to 172. I do believe it's going to push more. Look for that push to at least 172. If that breaks, 175 is next. For Meta, it looks bullish. We're getting a bullish cross in the PPO. Our next target is going to be around 475. If that breaks, 479 is coming, followed by 480. So I do believe it could push higher. It looks very, very nice right now. It's looking at a nice PPO crossover. Looks bullish. So with that being said, in my opinion, the market could push higher. Tesla could push higher. And we could be looking for nice resistance levels to be tested. This does not mean the market is going to push forever. Make sure you watch resistance at the levels I called out and be very careful as the market pushes. But just be prepared for more potential upside. Do what you have to do, guys. And I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. See you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great Valentine's Day holiday. If you guys are celebrating it, have a great time. If not, it is what it is, guys. Enjoy life. Love yourselves. Spread love, not hate, and always try to improve no matter what. Never give up. Keep your heads up. I believe in you. Thank you for listening. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning. Thanks again, and peace out.